can't get any words. Podcasts don't last, giving you the real talk, no holding back. Can't get any worse, we'll make you see. There's always a silver lining. We'll set you free, so join the movement. Let's change the game with the Can't Get Any Worse podcast.
What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the Can't Get Any Worse podcast. How are we all today? I've got another little guest treat for you today. I've got the man himself, Ryan McCarthy. Is that...
Yep,
did I get that right?
Right?
Perfect.
Yep, that's it.
I always, the Mick names, they always trip me up. You've never had anyone have issues with it?
No, I've had it a couple of times when I actually call people on the phone. I say Ryan.
Yeah.
A lot of people think I say Brian with a B. So a lot of the times I just go with it.
Yeah, okay, true. So what heritage is that last name? Is it?
Irish.
Irish, okay.
Yeah, so my whole name's Irish. Ryan Callum McCarthy.
There you go. You
Can't get
much
origins.
more. Can't get more Irish than that, other than like Conor McGregor.
Yeah, exactly. I'm coming for him. Coming for that throne.
Here we go. Straight into the banter. Anyway, do you want to tell the listeners a bit about yourself? Who are you? What do you do? I guess give everyone a bit of an insight of who you are, and then we'll go from there.
Yeah, sweet. Well, I'm Ryan, the Irish King. No, I'm joking. I'm Ryan. Do the OneTalk podcast. Also do OneTalk events and all those type of things, and also co-owner of Out the Box, which is a sound and media company. And we also have a music studio, Poddy Studios. We do outreach media work for companies and athletes and whatnot. So at the moment, just deep dive into the whole media world and doing my thing, and it's loving it.
It's pretty insane. We're recording at your studio today, and I'm blown away. This is like the dream in reality. Like, how long has it taken you to sort of get to this point?
Well, for me, I started the podcast in, what were we saying, like 5 years ago.
Yeah.
When I first started the podcast, it was in the middle of the library in Brisbane.
Okay.
A microphone sitting on a table, the worst audio. I'm like the least confident person talking on the microphone. It was horrible. So probably then till this year, it's probably been it. So I eventually transitioned into my own house, and I was recording in my spare room for a bit. And the co-owner of Out the Box, Bill, he started this place here, and he was the one who really put in a lot of the work and got all this happening here. And then I came in and just started recording here around then. So it's been about 4 months we've been in the studio here.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, it's insane. It's literally, I was saying before, it's a bit of a change from my single car garage that I've kitted out as my makeshift studio. But you got to start somewhere, hey. But the starting in the library, that's insane. I don't think I've heard anyone say that.
Yeah, like it was incredible because at the time I just wanted to start a podcast. I didn't know how to, didn't have the space, especially in my house that I was in at the time. So I got my laptop and just brought down a microphone, and I was like, right, let's just go to the library. And it was horrible because you can hear like 100 people talking in the background.
Yeah.
So the audio is just terrible. So I did that for a few episodes. And after that, Bill as well, he was the co-host at the beginning of OneTalk, and he was currently studying at a music university. So we went there and recorded a few. And eventually it was like, all right, I need to get my own roadcaster. You get my own computer and start finding a way to make it sound better.
Yeah, right. Okay. What were you recording with to start with? Just your phone or something? Or
no, so I had like a Rode microphone, but it's probably the cheapest one I could get.
Okay.
And it was like a meter away from me, so I didn't know you had to talk into it closely. So I just had a Rode microphone, and on my computer I had something called Mixpad. Okay. So like you're speaking to the microphone and it just feeds straight into the laptop.
Yeah, right.
One of the good things, I had no idea how to do any audio engineering, any mixing, any editing, but being a podcaster, you learn all the tricks of the trade.
That's it. Yeah, I got pretty lucky at the start because one of my mates that I started it with, he's like whatever qualification an audio engineer is.
Yeah,
he tells me it's like the biggest thing in the world. But I got pretty lucky. He like kitted me out from the start because like we started off and he was just showing me, like the handheld like sports reporters ones.
Yeah.
He was showing me those, and I'm like, no, like I want to be legit about it. And I started showing him the Roadcaster kits, and he's like, oh, okay, you're like taking it seriously. I was like, yeah, I just want to do it once, like, because I'm the type of person, if I don't set it up half decent from the start, then I'll just go with that method forever, and like I'll get a big guest in the studio, and I'll be like, what do you think?
Feeling a bit awkward trying to get around. Yeah.
No, it's crazy. So where did the idea of podcasting come from? Have you always just listened to podcasts, or?
No, so it started because like years and years ago, I overcame a lot of trials and tribulations in my own life, and I wanted to find a way to give back to people because I found getting information, resources of value around mental health and self-help or anything along that nature was expensive to access. So I wanted to create a platform where I could interview people, maybe get stories, get wisdom, share a laugh or whatever it is, and just give value back to people for free. That was the idea. And I originally brought it up to my mate Bill. I brought it up to him. We were talking about it. And for about 6 months, I was procrastinating and just didn't do it. And then one day I was like, no, I've got to bite the ball and just do the thing. And that's why I bought the Rodecaster and took the steps. But the reason behind it was because it's just my own trials and tribulations in life and wanted to find a way to give back, try and give back some value. And and from there, I just enjoyed it and it's just kind of evolved.
Yeah, cool. Do you want to talk about any of those
Yeah,
trials?
I'm open book.
Open book?
Open
Okay,
book
perfect.
completely.
Because I've listened to a couple of your podcasts, but I've tried to do as little research as possible just because I like hearing it from the horse's mouth, so to speak. So I suppose, as much in depth as you want to.
Let's get into it.
Yeah, go nuts.
So I'm originally from Liverpool, England. Moved to Australia when I was about 8 years old. And then when I moved to Australia, it was a bit of a challenge, separating from family because when we moved here, it was me, mum, dad, brother and sister. But then not long after, we all kind of split up and me, brother, sister and dad stayed in Adelaide and me and mum were in Queensland. And from there, I just started finding a lot of challenges with isolation. And then I eventually led into a path at the age of 11 where I became a drug addict.
Right.
So 11 years old, just started smoking weed, which eventually turned to taking pills, smoked ice, just doing a lot of dumb stuff as well during those years. Mm-hmm. And from the age of 11 till 18 is when I just probably did a lot of reckless stuff, not many days sober in those years. Mm-hmm. And then when I was 18 years old, that's when I decided to make an effort to become clean.
Yeah.
And
was there any reason, just a mental snap that you had?
To be honest, I think it was because I've always tried to reflect on why I became clean. And I think a lot of times building up to it, this is my mind frame of trying to become sober. So when I was 17, I understood the one thing I couldn't go without from morning to night was just marijuana. Mm-hmm. Like I had to wake up with it, go to sleep with it. It was even to the point where the one day I went to work sober, my boss complained to my bigger boss that something was wrong with me and I was being weird. Yeah, right. So the one day I was sober. So I understood that weed was probably the most deep-rooted addiction that I had.
Do you think it's because it sort of calmed the thoughts or something like that? Yeah,
because I always found life was a bit chaotic and there was the one thing that kind of centered me and relaxed me, but also just the community as well of the people that I hanged out with and the access to people, I guess, it gave me at the time. But then when I was 17, I was like, all right, if I can quit weed, I'll be able to quit all the other drugs easy. Because I was like, if I can quit the thing I can't sleep without, everything else will be a breeze. So I just made a decision to quit weed right after schoolies. I had one little last bender, as you do.
One last hurrah, yeah.
And then quit weed for 7 months. And those 7 months were super difficult and challenging. But at the same time, I convinced myself because I was like, all right, if I just abuse every other drug, it's fine, because I can still get a hit. But then after about 7 months of being clean off weed, I'm like, all right, I feel like I've got grips of not needing weed. Then it was like a mental snap of now I can just quit everything else. Okay. And my 18th birthday was the last time I touched drugs. Yeah, okay. And from there I was like, all right, I've got to make a stake in the ground and make the decision that this is the last time and I won't go back. And I decided to do that. But the following 2 years post-addiction was actually the hardest 2 years of my life because from the age of 11 till 18, all my emotions were suppressed. Mm-hmm. Everything was numb. Everything was dull. And when I turned 18, all these things just came out of me. Yeah, right. Depression, anxiety, anger. It was crazy, man, because I just didn't even know any of these emotions existed, let alone how to regulate them. Yeah. So those 2 years post-addiction was just a massive self-discovery journey of finding myself, trying to learn more about emotions and I guess getting a better grip on life and trying to build something for myself. And then at the age of 20, that's when I decided to try and make something for myself and begin a journey and, I guess just trying to build a better future for myself.
Yeah, cool. Well, how did that all, what were you thinking at that time? Was it the whole podcast thing or were you just thinking literally just get my life together, so to speak, just get a steady job, things like that, start living a civilized life, so to speak.
Try to live a civilized life. Yeah, that's it because, so I got expelled from school when I was in grade 11. Okay. And I always got told by teachers, probably fairly, that I'd never amount to anything. If I reflect back, I could play the victim, teachers always said that about me. But if you knew me back then, it makes sense.
Yeah, sounds like we had similar schooling careers.
But then when I got clean, I was like, I need to do something that I can say I achieved. And I'm like, I never finished grade 12. I'm like, if I can go and complete grade 12, at least I can say I did it. So I signed up to TAFE, did grade 12 at TAFE. And when I was doing TAFE, I studied a course, a mini course in psychology. Okay. So I was like, this may be beneficial because I'm dealing with all these emotions. So it might be beneficial to learn more about the mind and how to regulate. So when I studied that, I just became obsessed with mental health. I I was like, all right, I need to find a way to give back. So a couple of months into my TAFE course, I started a Instagram page, which is now called OneTalk, but beforehand it was called Mental Health Experience.
Okay.
So I started that page to spread awareness and just to, I guess, just share what I'm going through in hopes it would help other people. And that would have been like June 2018. And through there, I started running like community events, putting on free barbecues, just to spread awareness for mental health. And as I was doing that, a lady hit me up, offered me a job in mental health residential housing. And then through there, I transitioned into community mental health. And after that, I did youth work for 6 years, working with young people with multiple different challenges of life. But the beginning of it was just wanting to give back and help people, just because of everything that I went through. I wanted to help other people potentially avoid any pain points that I did, or maybe guide people who are in those pain points out of that path.
Yeah, right. How did you sort of go about helping them? Because I'd imagine still at the same time you're trying to deal with your own stuff that you got going on, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, definitely.
did you just sort of push that aside and deal with your own stuff in your own time and then try and help them? Like, what sort of methods, I suppose, did you use to help them?
Yeah, so the main thing was like going to the gym was the biggest thing for me as well, because I signed to a gym on Brabby Island called Average Joel's Gym. Shout out to Joel. But that gym was like a massive part of my journey of just like, I guess just having some sort of export in my own life, you know. So that was like my main way of regulating. But one thing I found by stepping into the field and working in mental health was that the more of service that I was of other people, the more it made me feel better and the more it inspired me. So to be honest, that's probably the thing that helped me the most, is helping other people.
Yeah, cool.
Because filling up other people's cups, like also filled up mine, because I started to realize I have a real passion about it. So to be honest, from there, I just realized like I almost want to help more people, because the more people I help, the better I feel.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's a good way to go about it, because I remember for a while there, I was like, because I'm big on the whole mental health thing as well, but for a while there, I was trying to incorporate it in the podcast as well. And it just like, I don't know if it didn't feel natural to me or what the go was, but it almost felt like I was just trying to cram it into the podcast for the sake of it. And I just sort of had a chat to myself, and I even told like the listeners and stuff, I'm like, look, the way that I've always helped people deal with their stuff is just making them laugh. So I'm like, I'll literally just come in here once a week, turn the camera on. I'm like, hopefully maybe you're having a shit day at work or something, you turn my stupid voice on and I give you a laugh and you're like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Things aren't so bad. So yeah, I know what you mean, how making other people feel something makes you feel better. So
yeah, and that's it. There's multiple ways to make people feel better. Like you said, it can be through a laugh. It can be through many other methods. It doesn't have to be like the whole deep psychological route, you know, like there's many ways to make someone else's day better.
Definitely.
It's good that you identified that.
Yeah, no, because I think I just related it to myself in a way, because I've got all sorts of stuff going on up here as well. So people have always been like, oh, go talk to someone. And I always say this, nothing against people that do go talk to people, but it's just not really my thing. Like I'm not much of a communicator. Like you said at the library, you were sort of a shy person. You're not much of a communicator. I'm the same deal. Like it just was never really my way of getting my emotions out. And similar story, like obviously I don't look it, but I go to gym every day as well, because it centers me. If I don't go to the gym first thing in the morning, my day's almost ruined. I feel sorry for whoever runs into me that day. You know what I mean? So you find all these little things that sort of help you get your way through life. So you started the podcast. So was it just with your mate, you and Bill?
Me and Bill, yep.
So there was no guests at that point? It was
so it was me and Bill for episode 1 and 2, and then our third episode, we had our first guest.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Do you remember who that was?
Yeah, it was my mate from school, Tommy Hedge.
Yeah, cool.
So he ended up becoming a teacher, and also he did like photography and stuff, but he also had a cool story as well.
Yeah.
So we just hit him up for our first guest to get him to come on and have a chat. Actually, no, it was episode 4. Episode 3 before that, we had the first guest actually was Lauren McDonald.
Okay.
My bad. Sorry, Lauren. But she's a PT. So we had a chat to her about being a PT, exercise, health, well-being and all that. And that was a trip in itself, you know, like going from me and Bill just talking to each other. 'Cause that's pretty easy. We've known each other for maybe 17 years now. But to get a guest on who we've never met before, to sit him down in the room. And at the time, I wasn't like the most social person. I struggled with like social anxiety. And to try and ask questions about someone else's life was a bit intimidating at the start. But it's probably one of the best things that I did, because I started to become curious and just like love talking to people and, you know, just being genuinely interested in people's stories.
Yeah, it is good. I'm exactly the same way. if my two mates didn't sort of say to me at the start, they're like, oh, we'll do the first, I think they said they'll do like the first 6 episodes with me or something, just so I can learn all the equipment and stuff. And then they both hung around till like in the 50s or something. So, but I was exactly the same way. Like my first couple of people that we had in the studio, if those boys weren't there, there would have been like 20 minutes of silence of me just sitting there going, I don't know what to talk to you about now.
Thumbs.
Yeah, exactly. It's a wild thing. And like, to be honest, I still feel that. Like everyone's always like, oh, do you get nervous when you go and do comedy and things like that? And I had a gig just before I came here, felt pretty much no feelings about that gig. All day I've just been stressing about this podcast because I'm the same. I'm still exactly the same. I don't know why, but it's just guest episodes still make me so nervous.
Yeah, because if you think about it, like if you haven't done a podcast before, you're meeting someone for the first time, you've never had a conversation with them, and then you've got to try and hold a 60-minute conversation with them that you've never met. And it's like, all right, how am I going to construct this? How's it going to sound good for the audience? But how's my guest going to feel comfortable? Like there's so many elements that go into it.
Yeah, definitely. It's insane. But hey, I know you're my guest, but you've definitely made me feel comfortable in here. There's waters,
sweet.
there's everything. I was like, oh my Lord.
Yeah, we got you, bro. We got you.
No,
Who was your first guest?
Good question. You put me on the spot here. I think it was me and the boys for the first one. And then I think it might have just been one of our workmates, to be honest.
Yeah.
I think he caught wind of it at work. We were talking about it. And he goes, oh, I'll come on. And we just got drunk. And I think he was like a Queensland Cup football player. So
Yeah, right.
sort of tied into somewhat fame, if you will.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's pretty cool. You've had some sick guests on.
Yeah.
You've who would you say is your biggest guest, I suppose?
I'd say biggest in terms of like probably like the world stage is probably a comedian called Morgan J.
Yeah.
If you
Okay.
know Morgan J.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he was the biggest. He came to Australia for a tour and he's got like 10 million followers. And I was trying to DM. And I was like, he's not going to see my DMs. So I was like, all right, how can I get crafty about this? So he put up a story saying, I've just started streaming. Everyone come and follow my stream. Like he's just started. I'm like, quick, let's get in there before it gets blown up. So I got in there, there's only like 20 people in the stream. I was like, yes, just started like smashing the comment section in the stream. Like, I'm in Brisbane, come on my podcast. I see that you're in Australia. And he's like, yeah, here's my email. Send me an email. I'll come on.
That's so
And then,
sick.
then the next week he came on the podcast. So that was a trip because he's one of my favorite comedians. And then somehow, find a way to get in contact with him, having coming on the pod was a pretty epic experience.
Yeah. It's a wild world with social media now because I'm the same way. The amount of celebrities, if you will, that I've just sent a random DM to and they've like at least reacted to it and most of the time reply to it. I'm like, what is happening right now? Like,
Legit.
someone like you should not be talking to someone like me, you know?
Yeah.
Like, it's crazy.
It's a spin out because you can kind of like connect with people that, when you were younger and kind of looked up to, whether it's musicians, comedians, athletes. You can't just DM them. Sometimes he replies. He's like, how am I having a conversation with this person?
Yeah, it's wild. So how did you feel prepping for that episode? Were you?
Yeah, I was a bit nervous. I was nervous because I was like, this guy is, he's he's big in his own right in comedy, and also like I knew there was going to be a lot of ears and eyes watching this episode. So I'm like, all right, I really need to execute it right, because when I prepare for an episode, I try and do as much research as possible into the guests, where I listen to quite a fair amount of podcasts they've already done. And then I'm like, all right, what can I do different so it's not the same? Because I try and make my episodes different and stand out. Or if I'm interested in a certain topic they talked about, find a different way to frame it. So a lot of mental work went into that, just trying to find ways to ask him questions that he hasn't been asked, which is pretty odd because he's done a lot of podcasts and things like that. But when we started recording, it was just like a conversation with another guy. Like he made it so easy. Obviously he talks for a living, so he's pretty used to it. But probably leading up to it, nervous. As soon as record started, it was it was really cruisy, really cool. Because he was a really cool guy to talk to and just easy going.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah. I would have been shitting myself like all day. I would have been stressing so hard.
How about yourself?
Again, good question. Who would be the biggest one? Mate, you've put me on the spot on my own podcast right now. I remember in the early days, like I think for like in the 30s or something, we got Tom Ballard.
Yeah, nice.
He's a big Australian comedian. So I was pretty chuffed when he said yes, and I'm like, oh my God, like what is going on? So who else have I had? Yeah, but I don't know. But yeah, I was looking at your guest list and I'm like, that's insane. Like you've had like 360 and stuff. How was that?
That was awesome, because 360 was another one where growing up, like when I was in like grade 8, his moves, like his Falling and Flying album was massive, and I was like obsessed with that album. So then like 15 years later, being able to interview him was a bit of a bit of a spin out for me, but it was really cool to have the opportunity to sit down with him and have a chat, and that was really good because he just started like with his new journey of faith and talking about his music. He's getting back into it, and we were like randomly recorded in a boxing ring at the gym as well. Shout out to my mate Lucas, CSC Boxing, letting us use his gym to record that episode. So it's a completely different setup, recording with 360 in a boxing ring. So yeah, it was a really cool experience.
Were you as like a podcaster, were you nervous about that recording environment, just like the not having the soundproofing and all that sort of stuff, or you were all over it?
I was more so nervous about background noise,
Okay.
like of people potentially coming to the gym and things like that and talking. But I knew I had a time frame where I had to be finished because there was a class coming.
Okay.
So I was like, all right, there's so much I want to talk to him about. And to be honest, I probably could have spoke to him for like 4 hours. I'm not sure if 360 would appreciate that. But
No, it is pretty cool because obviously from the story you told at the start, you two probably have a pretty similar journey, I suppose,
exactly.
with addiction and faith and all that sort of stuff. So yeah, that must have been a real trip just to grow up with idolizing him, I suppose, and finally get to have a chat to him. So yeah, that's insane.
You know, that's the one episode that spanned me out was the one I did with Jim Penman. He was a founder of Jim's group, like Jim's mowing, Jim's washing. Because before, like probably a couple of years ago, I just thought it was just a brand. Then I was like, wait, Jim's an actual guy. I interviewed him. And that was a really cool one.
Yeah, that would have been wild. Yeah, that's nuts. So on top of everything else that you got going on, your dad.
Yep.
Yeah. How are you finding that journey? Is that the hardest one so far?
Yeah, it's the hardest, but the absolute best.
It's
crazy.
Like,
like before coming the father, I mean, once becoming the father, like I didn't realize like how much spare time I had.
Yeah. No. Oh, 100%.
Now it's like, you don't get any spare time, but at the same time, like I wouldn't change it for the world. Like it's actually like all I want to do is be with my kid.
Yeah.
Like I know I'm on a mission. I'm trying to achieve certain things and build certain things, but at the end of the day, all I want was to be with my family, man.
Yeah, I'm exactly the same way. Like trying to chase all this stuff on the side, but at the end of the day, it's all for them in grand picture. So you got is it a son?
Yeah, son.
Yeah, perfect. Yeah. I thought I got that right, but there's nothing worse than when like another parent's like, oh, she's so cute. And it's like, it's a boy. Have you ever copped that?
Yeah, when he was first born, because he was bald.
Yeah,
so people didn't know like what gender he was. Like, oh, is he a girl, is he a boy? But now I'm like, just put him in blue clothes. And it's pretty simple.
My wife did the same thing. Yeah, I forget if it was my youngest or oldest, but we used to cop it all the time. And she's like, I'm never taking him out of the house in anything other than blue. I'm like, just relax. Like,
how many kids do you have?
2 boys.
Yeah, nice, man.
Chaos.
Have you found since having kids, it's added like another level of motivation to your life? Like,
yeah, 100%. Yeah. So when I had my first son, I pretty much just cruised through life, and then when I had my first son, about 2 years after he was born, that was when I started like my first business.
Yep.
Just in cabinet making because that's all I've ever done.
Yep.
But yeah, just something about having a kid. It was like I need to do more, or you get like that lion spirit or something. You got to like be protected.
Bigger than me.
Yeah, exactly. So that was sort of the first stint, and then again, I just fell into a bit of like a depression or whatever you want to call it after that. And then again, when my second son was born, just got that fire again, and I was like, all right, it's everything, like going all in. And that's when I started the whole comedy thing, started the whole podcasting thing, and I was just like, all right, if you're going to go for something that you want to do. So yeah,
that spark on there.
That's
epic.
100%. So and you've got partner as well.
Yeah, I've got a wife. Yeah, she's awesome. She really holds down the house because I'm busy a lot, doing a lot of things, but she's amazing in terms of keeping the house down lock, looking after our son. Yeah, cool. Doing all the behind the scenes work.
Yeah. How long have you guys been together?
We got together, let's say 5 years, going on to 6.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
How old are you now?
28.
28. Okay, perfect. Similar ages. I like to say similar ages when you're within like 5 years of me. I'm an old man. No, cool. So did your wife come along once you had everything sorted out, I'm assuming?
Yeah.
So you were on the right path then? And
that was like a strict rule of mine just personally. It was like I didn't want to invite a relationship into my life until I knew I got to a point where I could handle it.
Yeah, cool.
Because relationships in the past, I just wasn't in a healthy mind space, and I knew it wasn't good for me to be in a relationship. I'm still trying to figure my own shit out. So then I got myself to a certain point, and actually, funnily enough, even at that point, I told myself, I don't know why I thought this was a good idea or why I had this in mind, but I was like, I'm staying single till I'm 30.
Yeah,
I was like, that was my motivation in life, and then I met my wife, and then that kind of changed within a week. So
Yeah, right. Yeah.
but I made sure, or I wanted to make sure I was at a certain point in my own life in terms of mindset and mental health. And thankfully, she came at a really good time.
Yeah, nice. What was my question going to be after that? I stuffed up bad then. Go, Mr. Podcaster, save me.
I got you, bro.
Yeah.
I saw beatboxing or something.
Yeah. No, what do you do outside of podcasting and all that sort of stuff? You do just the gym and family? Is that?
Yeah, so podcasting, we got Out the Box here. So we do Sound and Media, which is...
Tell us a little bit about, all this stuff that's going on. Like you said, sound, media, you got a recording studio over here, which is nuts.
Yeah. It's epic.
I might lay down some tracks after
this.
Yeah,
we got you, bro. Yeah, we're getting feature on one of Cash's songs over here.
Yeah.
Cash is a musician.
Let's do it.
But Cash is a videographer, editor. We got Wheelix over there, who's photographer, but he also runs Soundtake as well. So Soundtake is a branch of Out the Box, where it's the music side of things. So we do freestyles, interviews, photography, and music videos and recording as well. So shout out to Wheelix for his podcast, Soundtake. That's epic. And also About the Box, we do videography for events, businesses, athletes, photography as well, and just like kind of media for anyone. But it's been really good doing this because, we're a really awesome team. We're all locked in. We've all kind of got the vision similar as well. Now we're all just charging towards it and trying to make something out of it.
Yeah, it's good when you can find like a group of people that have the same vision and you can boost each other up. And because sometimes when I'm doing the solo pod, I'm like looking around me, I'm like, who's going to give me a boost up today? I'm like,
how do you prepare for solo pods? Because every single time I try and do them, I usually try and prepare and I scrap it, sit down in front of the camera and wing it. That's how I do it.
That's what I was doing at the start, to be honest. And then another chat I had to have with myself. I was just like, look, if people are going to tune in and listen to me, I owe them the courtesy of preparing sort of thing. So, it's sort of like my first 10 to 15 solo ones, terrible. I never want to hear them ever again.
Yeah.
And then after that, I sort of started to get somewhat of a set list, if you will. Like I started to treat it like comedy in a way. And I just sort of throughout my week, I'd pull my phone out with a notes list and I'd go, oh, this happened. I reckon that'd be funny to rant about for 5 minutes on the podcast sort of thing. So then I started that. So sort of like a bit of a Bill Burr type podcast, just rant about what had gone on, and then it had slowly escalated probably in the last 20 to 30 where I'd then sit down even further and I'd almost treat it like, if I think it's funny enough to say on the podcast, is it funny enough to say on stage?
Yeah.
So I'd more or less have that note that I'd written down and then I'd try and come up with a punchline to make it a joke in a way. Right. So that's sort of, there's so much prep that goes into it, but I
can imagine. But it's a good way to give yourself ideas for comedy.
Definitely.
Just sitting down, ripping in front of a camera.
Yeah.
And wait, that might actually have something to it.
Yeah. Yeah. It's actually been wild, the amount of stuff that I've been able to take from the pod to stage. So,
because as a comedian, I can imagine there must be so much for exercise that you have to do.
Yeah.
A lot of thinking. What's the process of do you meditate? Do you just talk? Or do you just what's the process of trying to come up with new material?
Similar kind of thing. So most of my earlier material, and even now, I've just got a notes app that's just full of premises. And to be honest, it's all just stuff that I was saying on the early days of the podcast where I'd say something and the two co-hosts would look at me and be like, what the fuck did you just say? And I'm like, oh, that's weird. You guys didn't experience that in your childhood or something like that. Or weird stuff like that. And then, I suppose from there now I've sort of similar thing. If I'm having a conversation with someone and they say something weird that I've never heard before and I'm like, what did you just say sort of thing? I'll jot it down there and I'll try and write something about it. But I mean, once you got kids and stuff, there's just an endless stream of content. Both my boys will do something stupid every day. And I'm like,
so something to talk about.
Exactly.
I remember when my son was first born, I've never really experienced sleep deprivation to this extent in my life. I remember I was feeding him on the couch and I remember sitting there, I was like, am I asleep? Am I awake? Am I dreaming? And I had to start pinching myself I'm actually awake. This is not a dream.
Yeah.
And I'm like, all right, let's lock in because I'm trying to hold the child here.
Yeah, for sure. So another big thing that you're been pumping on the socials lately is your faith side of things.
Yep.
Do you want to talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, definitely. So I started doing the daily Bible verse, sharing that on social media because I found there's a way for me to stay accountable as well and to start building more of a rhythm with checking in daily with my verses and with the Bible and my prayer to God, because I found sometimes I did a solo episode maybe 2 or 3 months ago, probably a little bit longer ago. It was all about like my wrestle with God.
Okay.
In terms of like, I don't really connect to faith when I feel like I should, and only when like I need something. So I was like, been going through this journey with it. And so I started recently doing the daily Bible verses away for myself to keep accountable, but then also share with other people as well, and just sharing more sides to me in social media, because I find on social media sometimes, I can only post podcast clips, and I'm like, no, I actually want to share more of me and what I do and what I think. So that's why I started doing those daily verses. But with my faith, it's not something that I grew up with like as a child. Like, it was never talked about in the household. My parents aren't religious or of faith or anything like that. I didn't go to like a Christian school or anything like that.
Yeah,
so
okay.
maybe like 2.5 years ago, I remember I was just started getting like these random, not random, but like, it was like kind of like just messages dropping into my mind, like when I meditate and things like that.
Okay.
And I was like, this feels like a calling from God. And at that stage, I was a bit confused because I've never gone to church. I've never prayed. I've never read the Bible. So I was like, all right, I'm going to go down to the local bookstore and I'm going to pick up some of like religious texts, like the Bible, the Quran, Buddhism books and things like that, and just start reading text, see what relates, see what resonates. And as I started reading the Bible, I was like, wait, this seems like a lot of the things I've been experiencing and going through. So after I started reading that, I called up, actually I went on Google and I was like, closest church near me. And this church came up and I called them and I was like, can I speak to the guy in charge? And they're like, do you mean the pastor? And I'm like, yeah, I think that's it. Yeah. He jumped on the phone and he's like to me, he's like, hey, how are you? And I'm like, yeah, good, man. I only want to take 5 minutes of your time. Ended up sitting on the phone to him for about an hour. Sorry, Sean. But I had a chat to him and he's like, look, we have service every Sunday. Come down. No pressure if you don't want to, but if you do, let me know, introduce yourself, and if you want to be introduced to other people, you can. If not, just hang out at the back by yourself and just observe. So I was like, yeah, all right. Hung up the phone. I started panicking, like, what do you wear to church? I was like going from my cupboard, like, do I have a suit? Like, I had no idea what to wear to church.
What'd you land on?
I ended up wearing jeans and a Tommy Hilfiger shirt.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah, so,
did you fit in?
No. So I was like a small casual. But when I got there,
what was everyone else in?
Just like what we're wearing now, just like some people wearing slides, shorts, like singlets, like just like what everyday people wear. But in my mind, I thought church is like you wear like a 3-piece and like pocket watch and stuff. So like I had the wrong like idea of it. Yeah. Maybe that's movies or something. But yeah, when I went there, I was like, oh wait, maybe I should just be myself. So that was a key lesson for me. But I went, and as soon as I got there, like not even kidding, as soon as I walked in the church, like I just felt this overwhelming feeling of like I'm at home.
Yeah, true.
Like, it was just like instant like that, and there's something that I can't even explain. And from that moment, I'm like, I'm going to start coming every week. Started going to church every week, met a crew of people there, and then we started our own little Bible study. And then now, like 2.5 years later, just find my way with faith, talking to God, and then just finding ways to make it stronger and make myself more knowledgeable and trying to get more wisdom.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, no, well, hats off to you, because I guess I was completely the opposite to you. Like my come up when I was a child, it was almost like church was forced down my throat. And because of that, I feel like I developed like a resentment towards it, which I've heard is pretty common.
Yeah, definitely.
And even, again, you said something that just rung true in my brain as well, is like, it feels like I only turn back to my faith when my life's like turning to shit or something's going wrong. And I'm just like, hey, reckon you can help a brother out here at the moment? Like, and I was like, it's probably not the best way to go about it. But especially over the last few years, I feel like and again, I don't know what it is. Like, I just feel like I almost have like my own God that I talk to. You know what I mean? Because a lot of the ideas and stuff that you get taught and stuff, which I don't know how to word this, so bear with me. I like, I really can't think of how to word this, but what I'm liking is both my boys go to a private school now.
Yep.
And I'm liking I'm not looking for discipline. I'm trying to think of, can you think of the word? Like
discipline or like guidance or?
Maybe guidance. Yeah. Maybe guidance or just something like that. I feel like it just, like going to church and stuff and learning that side of things when I was younger, it almost taught me like manners and how to be nice to people and all that sort of thing. And so if anything, that's probably more of what I took out of it. Now I see my boys learning all that stuff as well, which I think is cool. Awesome. But but then, I guess and again, I don't know how to word this, but I don't have like an issue with authority, but I just hate people telling me what to do and stuff. So,
I'm stubborn as well, so it's a bad mix.
And it just used to annoy me when my family and stuff was just like, all right, it's church time. And I'm like, we go to church twice a year. Like it's not like we go every week or anything like that. So hats off to people that do go every week. But to me, it was just like, I don't think going twice a year is going to like open the door for us, you know what I mean? Like,
because like for me as well, like since becoming the father, I've been juggling with the idea of like, how do I bring this to the family as well? Because my wife, she's not religious, or I wouldn't say she doesn't believe God, but she's just not, I guess, pursuing a relationship with the right way to do it. She's just more so probably of how I was before I found faith. So I've always been sitting on the idea of like, how do I introduce this to the family where it's not to the point where I'm forcing people? So with my son, my idea is, and hopefully it's the right thing, but I guess you never know. It's just let him make his own decisions.
Yeah.
And maybe talk to him about God, share things like that, but not force him to have to read the Bible, not force him having to do things. Instead, let him come to his own conclusion, and whether that's with finding faith or going for his own journey and eventually finding it, or whatever it is, you know, let him be his own human, make his own decisions. Because for me, I grew up without it and eventually led me to it. So for him, it could potentially be the same. And for me, just try and, you know, share some wisdom with him, share some words, and let him make his own decisions. And hopefully that, you know, it doesn't cause any friction, because I'm the same as you. If someone tells me to do something, I do the opposite. You know, and I'm really stubborn about it. And I'm like, I know my son will probably be the same as me as well. So I'm like, I've got to try and juggle a way to make this work. Did you find any challenges with that when you became a father, of like, how am I going to guide them, but also show them the right path, but also not push them away?
100%. Yeah. So my oldest son pushes the boundaries all day, every day. And it's annoying because my parents and stuff will see him and they'll laugh. They'll go, that was you when you were a kid.
How old is he?
He is 8 now.
Oh, right.
Yeah. So he's really developing that attitude and things like that, which I love, to be honest. Like, there's a part of me where he'll make a good call on me or something, and like I've got to put my dad face on, and I'm like, that was a really good call, but we don't talk to your dad like that, all right? Yeah. But
I'm going to use that for material. But
exactly. Yeah, it's so hard. Like, and hats off to my wife. Luckily, my wife and I have been on the same page with parenting since day dot, which it's been unreal. We've never really had a disagreement on what we should or shouldn't do with the boys or things like that. And I suppose a lot of people look at us and think that our way of parenting is very easygoing and chilled. But much like you were just saying, we would rather our boys live their lives, experience things, develop their own ideas and things like that. And whatever comes of it, hopefully good things in the future. Hopefully we're not raising a couple of little criminals or something like that.
As long as you do these things freely and safely, we're fine.
Exactly. But no, it is good. It is good having the two boys, and like my youngest son now, he's 5. So the last sort of 6 months to a year, just the bond those two have developed it's insane. And like I say that as well, but now the 5-year-old's like teaming up with his older brother, and they're just both smoking me. I'm like, leave me alone.
Sorry,
I get roasted enough on stage. You know what I mean? Like, this is my safe place.
Like my good mate Stephen, like before I had kids, like I was hanging out with him. He's got 2 kids himself. I remember once I was hanging out with him. This sticks to my mind because it just shows like how funny kids are. But like both his kids are like racing up and down at this like grass strip. And they both look at each other, and one looks at the other and he goes, the first to bash dad wins. And they both just jump on them, start wrestling them. And I'm like, oh, kids are so funny, man.
Yeah, it's insane. My youngest son, I don't know where he's got it from, but he's just got this crazy amount of flexibility. And he'll just come up to me because I'm obsessed with the UFC. So it's on in the background, and he'll see chokes and stuff like that. He'll just come up behind me on the couch and just lock me in a choke with his legs and stuff. I'm like, dude, you need to do jiu-jitsu, but I can't convince him. I've offered him like $1,000. He just won't take
it. I'll do it, bro. I'll sign up.
That's nuts. Hey, you've had a few fighters and things like that on. Do you dabble in your fight work, or it's just more of a fan?
Yeah, I'm more of a fan. I grew up just loving boxing. Did a little bit of training, but not on like to the point where I was competing or anything like that. Just like a little bit of fun when I was younger. But I'm also just like a massive fan of it.
Yeah, cool. Just boxing or MMA or a bit of
everything?
I'll
say both. Yeah. It was boxing a lot, and then for a little bit I just only watched UFC, and then now like ever since kind of like around the Jeff Horn Pacquiao fight. That's when boxing probably came back into my life.
Yeah, okay.
Now it's like a love for both, but I do love UFC and I love boxing as well. But yeah, like I can't really get into like pure jiu-jitsu matches.
Yeah.
Like that for me, like a grappling, but I love more of like standing up combat sports. Yeah.
Yeah, I think most people do prefer that. See, I'm the opposite. I love grappling, but I don't know. I admit it's boring to watch, but it's like fun to do and things like that. But and then I suppose because of that, I've learned like a love of watching it, so to speak. But yeah, I was the opposite. Hey, I've always been MMA because I'd always look at, like, my dad was obsessed with boxing. So I was always like, that's an old man sport. Like UFC is where it's at for us younger kids. And now over the last maybe 12 months, I've started slowly getting into boxing a little bit. So yeah, it is an insane sport. And I've just started like dabbling a little bit in training for boxing.
Oh, nice, man.
It's insane. Hey?
Yeah,
like,
the one thing you don't realize that your legs go.
Yeah.
Like, because the amount of movement, like, it looks like, you know, you got to watch for your face and watch your arms, but, like, your legs, you're going to get tired.
Yeah, the legs, the amount of coordination and stuff that you have, it's insane. So hats off to any boxers listening.
Yeah, that was the same as well, like, younger, like, with my dad. We had VHS tapes as well. And I used to always just watch them. Like, I wouldn't even watch, like, Nickelodeon. I'd just watch those boxing tapes of, like, Mike Tyson and Sugar Ray and things like that. I was just obsessed with just combat sports. And then, you know, when UFC came around, my favorite UFC fighter of all time is Rashad Evans. And I remember when I was watching him, I was like, what is this sport? This is unreal. But with yourself, man, like who's your favorite UFC fighter of all time?
It's a tricky one. So I think, and again, I always preface this, in-cage Connor is probably my favorite.
Yeah, he's probably him and Rashad for me.
Yeah.
I love Connor.
So, I don't know. Like I've always had, I've got a soft spot for literally all of them. Like every fight card, I'll be like, oh, that's my favorite fighter.
Yeah, he's the GOAT.
Exactly. Exactly. Like I'm so keen for this weekend just to see if JDM can keep his belt. But it's going to be a good fight, I think. So we'll see how it goes. So back on the podcasting thing and things like that. So obviously you got the boys over here, they help you out with all your podcasting stuff as well? Yeah, cool. So
they help me out with producing, editing, and all that type of stuff.
Yeah, cool. So what's sort of your role? I suppose you're just the front man. You sit there, you record.
Yeah, I just attempt to be a pretty face. Try my best.
Yeah, cool.
But no, like so at the moment I'm more so of like I do research for guests, do research on find the guest, interview them.
Yep.
That's mainly it. And then the boys really help out a lot with editing and doing all the behind the scenes work.
Yeah, cool. No, that's insane.
Yeah, it's helped a lot because, like, as you probably know, like, beforehand, like, it took so much time, like, trying to edit each podcast as well, and, like, tens of hours a week in terms of just, like, editing, researching, recording, especially if you're doing 2 episodes a week, like, it just doubles it.
Yeah, it's nuts. I'm definitely biting off more than I can chew, but it's just, I'm sort of at that point where I was, like, almost plummeting for the last couple of years, like, going nowhere with it. And then at the beginning of this year, I don't know where it came from, but had a little bit of a resurgence. And I was like, I'm been trying to ride that wave. And now again, I slowly feel it starting to plateau. So I'm like, all right, we need to sprinkle something else. I'm like, all right, double episodes. Double episodes, get some guests in, which it's good. Like I do enjoy talking to people that have like an interesting story and things like that. So it's good for me as well as the listeners. And you just get to meet more people. Like seeing this space is insane. And I know we had a brief chat the other week. You're like, oh, are you looking at getting your stuff done? I'm like, if the budget permitted, yes. But yeah, it is sick. So you do edit other people's podcasts and stuff here? Is that
So
offer that service?
When people come in and record, they can hire the space.
So they have to record here for you to edit? Is that haven't thought about it?
I haven't thought about it, to be honest.
On the spot,
so we generally try and get people to come in here and record. But I guess if people want us to edit, we could provide that service, I'd say.
Yeah, right. Yeah. No, cool. You got to talk to the boys.
Yeah, I'll talk to the boys. I'll talk to the boys.
They're sitting over there going, don't get us more work. No, that's cool as. I normally send the guests this question before, but the last couple I've just sprung it on them during the podcast.
I like it.
And it's surprisingly come out better that way. So I feel that way you can't prepare for it or anything. But the name of the podcast is Can't Get Any Worse Podcast, right? So what I like to ask my guests is, do you have a moment in your life that you can remember where you just threw your hands up in the air and you're like, things cannot get any worse? Like, would it be the things we were talking about at the start? Do you have like a distinct story where you're just like,
yeah, right, things can't get any worse.
Yeah. It can be work, it can be family, it can be a podcast that you forgot to hit record on.
I've done that.
Have you really? True.
So I had a guest on. I recorded my microphone, but not his.
Oh, no.
So I had the same Rodecaster.
Yeah.
And I had 1 and 2 up, but the microphones were in 1 and 3.
Oh, no.
Yeah, so I didn't record his voice at all, and that was a nightmare. But I can't get any worse. I'm trying to think of maybe a great story that I have.
Yeah. Put you on the spot.
Oh no, I've just done a lot of dumb shit, to be honest. Like between those ages of 11 and 18, like the amount of stories that I have where you'd think I'm lying. Oh. I'll tell you a funny story.
Yeah.
I can't think of a moment where
that's cool.
the things where I can't get any worse is probably like getting sober from drugs and trying to turn my life around. At that point, I'm like, things can't get worse. But this story is so stupid, and when I look back, like it doesn't make sense. But I mean, I was like 12 years old. I was at my mate's place, and we were smoking weed in his room, and we didn't want his mum and dad to find out that we were smoking weed in the room. Oh, I need to get myself together.
Yeah.
This is so stupid, man. If I said to you right now, what's the top 10 ways that you could cancel out the weed smell of smoke, you wouldn't even guess it. So we're like, all right, we can't let his mum and dad know we're smoking weed. So we brought the fire pit into his bedroom and lit a bonfire in the room.
Really?
Yeah. And then,
How old were you?
12.
Yeah.
All he hears banged on the door, like, what? Open the door. We open the door and his dad's going off. He's like, what the fuck's the fire pit? And then he's got a fire going. And then, like, the good thing is he didn't find out we were smoking weed. He just thought we're dumb lighting the fire in the house. So some more successful. The other part was just really stupid. And I don't advise doing that.
That's wild. Lighting a fire pit inside. See, that's something my two boys would do, and they wouldn't even be stoned. They'd just do it for fun, just to piss dad off. No, that is crazy. That is wild. So you've got OneTalk podcast, and you said you did your mental health, the barbecues and things like that.
Yeah, and youth work.
Yeah. So was that around the same time as you started the podcast? So did that community more or less grow with the podcast?
No, so that was before. So I started the podcast in 2021.
Okay.
And I started that community stuff in 2018.
Okay.
So that's when I started social. So I was doing it for roughly about 3 years before I started the podcast. So when I started the podcast, I had somewhat of an audience.
Yep. Yeah, that's cool. So a lot of those people did jump across to the pod and check it out.
Yeah, a lot of people did, because I was doing like just a free barbecues, and I was also doing like mini wellness retreat stays where it's like exercise, ice baths, breath work, meditation, just like a day experience, events and stuff like that. So I started building the following on my Instagram page, and then when I started the podcast, I at least had somewhat of a foundation of people keen to listen in, which made it a lot easier trying to build it from the ground up. Because then, I got the, I guess, instant gratification seeing downloads straight away, which was helpful. But I had all the social media stuff probably for a few years beforehand. Yeah,
cool. And then it was just more or less word of mouth from there, you think? You just it grew from there?
Yeah, I'd say it was word of mouth because I don't really think I've ever done any paid advertising.
Yeah, cool.
Podcast. It's just trying to be organic as possible. Just trying to interview a lot of people. One of the things that helped me a lot actually was doing like Zoom recordings with people in America.
Yeah,
guests in America, because it ended up being like my listenership statistics was bigger in America than it is Australia.
Gotcha.
Like most of my audience is in America, which is crazy. So I think doing that really helped me heaps just in terms of expanding internationally.
Yeah, cool.
And then also just helping you get into like different charts and stuff around the world and helping you boost in that way, because I found that if I only grow in Australia, it's hard. But I feel like if you grow in America, the rest of the world see it.
Yeah.
It just kind of feels like that's how it is. So I started to try and like market in America with interviewing guests over there, and that gave me, a big boost at the start. Yeah,
nice. Yeah, that's cool. It's same thing with comedy, is like America's where you've got to be to sort of make a name for yourself, so to speak, because like touring in America is like a full-time job, whereas Australia, you've got 5 cities to go to, you know what I mean?
America's like a million.
Yeah. So literally next year I'm trying to put together like I guess you'd call it a regional comedy tour, where I'm just going to literally small towns everywhere.
Yeah, needs to be on Kiltony.
Yeah, that would petrify me.
Yeah,
that would petrify me.
I love Kiltony.
Yeah? Yeah, it's so good. Hey, some of the characters on there is insane. But people always ask me that. They're like, "How do you reckon you'd go on Kiltony?" And a lot of my stuff on stage is like stories, I suppose.
Yeah, okay.
And
so
I'm
more
like,
than 60 seconds.
Yeah. So I mean, I'm sure I could come up with something, but just it would literally break my heart if I bombed and just have Tony Hinchcliffe roast me. I'd be
Yeah,
like, oh my
that'd be
god,
brutal.
yeah.
Especially if like Adam Ray and all them.
I'd cry literally before I got backstage. But yeah, it's insane. So where's the what's big picture? Where's the end goal, so to speak? Where do you hope to get OneTalk and Out the Box and all your little business ventures? Where you?
Yeah, so OneTalk, I just want to just keep growing. Being number one would be epic.
Yep.
Without the box, be the biggest media agency in Australia.
Yeah.
And then go international from there. So that's our goals there. We've got great equipment. I feel like we've got the best team here. Now it's just all about awareness and expanding it and getting our work out there more. So I think with the media side of things, it'll be epic to become the best in the country. And I think, to be honest, we're probably up there already.
Yeah.
But I think now it's just getting the awareness around us because like Cash and Wheelix have so much experience and they're great at what they do. And me and Bill and what we do on our side of things as well. So to be honest, just become the best at what we do because that's kind of my motto in life. Like don't do something if you're not going to try and become the best, don't
definitely.
half-ass it. So yeah, that's the goal.
No, well, it looks like you got the gear. Looks like you got the team. Looks like you're all over it. So how do people get in touch with you if they want to book the studio or they want to check out the pod or something? Plug all your socials.
Yeah, sweet. So we got our website, which is outtheboxsm.com. We've got our socials, which is at outthebox_AU, or you can hit me up at OneTalk on Instagram as well. That's probably the best places. And then from there, you can just hit us up and get chatting.
Perfect, mate. Well, I reckon that's brought us to the end. Your story is crazy. I did not expect all that stuff at the start. So it's see, you say you like to do all your research. I like to do no research. I think that's why that story blew my mind straight off the bat. So I appreciate you sharing all that with us today.
No worries, bro.
And I appreciate you sharing this studio with us. And appreciate all you guys watching. So thank you again, Ryan, and I will see you later.
Can I ask you one question first?
Oh, yeah.
I'm curious. I like asking people like in different fields of like their favorite three of their field.
Yeah.
So who's your favorite top three comedians of all time for you?
Top three. Okay. I hate this question as well because much like my UFC fighters, it's always changed. So top comedian has always been Tom Segura.
Yeah, nice.
I love his stuff just because that's sort of who I've tried to reference my comedy towards, just the family stories and stuff like that. Then I suppose as of late, Shane Gillis.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah.
He's epic, eh?
Yeah, so good. So those two, and then the third one's the one I always struggle with. Like, I suppose, again, there's so many. I feel like and a lot of people are going to hate that I say this, but probably Kevin Hart.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah,
I like Kevin Hart.
I'm obsessed with his comedy. I think he's funny as, and there's a weird thing in the comedy scene where people don't like Kevin Hart for some reason.
I think because he went started doing movies, and people kind of went weird, and it's like he's still one of the greatest ever. Like it doesn't take away from
100%
everything else that he's done because. Like, you think about the most iconic lines of comedy.
Yeah.
Like, he's got the most quotable to find.
100%. Yeah, definitely. Yeah. It's, I remember when I started comedy and I was telling people in the scene that, and they'd give me like a dirty look and I'm like, dude. And then they'd go up and bomb for 5 minutes. I'm like, okay, I'll keep looking up. Yeah.
You ever got night?
Yeah. I'll keep looking up to Kevin Hart and you keep doing whatever the fuck that just was. Yeah. I don't know who you're looking up to, but no. Any other questions?
No, that's it. I was just curious to know that.
That's it. No, I appreciate it, mate. All right. Thank you all for listening and I will see you later.
See you later.
Can't get any worse, we'll make you see. There's always a silver lining. We'll set you free, so join